Welcome back guys. On today's video we're going to do something that's rather overdue. A number of people have asked if we can have a tour of our van. So here we are. We have a Citroen Relay. It's a 2016 L3 H2. It is the HDI version with AdBlue. It's the Enterprise edition, so we have a few little extras on it, like leather steering wheel and leather gear select, and the LED running lights as well. When looking for the van, there was a couple of things that we definitely wanted to be included. One was aircon and the other was cruise control. This has both. Let's start by showing you around the outside. So we start on this side. We've got electric heated folding mirrors. For wheels upgrade, we went to Rogue Alloys and we picked ourselves up some MSW 99s. These are in the two-tone version, which have got the silver fleck. We also gone with the General Grabber 83 tyres, which have been absolutely flawless. We used them all the way up in our Norway trip with no problems at all. Above us you will see the custom roof rack which I built. I will leave a link up here so you can go and check that out should you wish to do so, which has our 525 watts of solar on it. On the back door we have our mule wheel carrier, which also is a ladder, which carries our spare wheel. And you will also notice on the back door we have a gas plate, and there are one on either side of the van as well. That's because in a previous life this van was a fireworks display truck. And on the top you will notice that we have our rear lights, which are used when we're doing wild camping and we're trying to park up out in the woods, etc. The final piece at the back of the van is our reversing camera, which mounts nicely inside the rear light. As we move around to the front of the van, firstly we have our headlamp protectors from Van Comfort. These are great for protecting the headlamps against rogue stones, but secondly they have the markings on them so you can place the stickers on to use them in Europe. This means you get the stickers in place first time, every time. Next up is our aux beam lights, which are mounted to the bonnet. These illuminate in both yellow and in white, which are great for use in the snowy environments like when we were up in Norway. We did use these a few times and found them very effective. On the roof rack there are 3 additional lights. We use these to illuminate the road ahead, but also for when we're looking for wild camping spots. They were amazing up in Norway, again for lighting up the road ahead when you're completely away from everything and there's total darkness. And lastly at the front of the van is our driving camera. This enables you to see round corners that are obstructed as you approach them. On the roof we have 2 max air fans. As I was previously stated, we have our 3 solar panels which make up our 525 watts of solar. At the far end you will see that we have our CB aerial. Also down the front end you will notice that there are 2 CCTV cameras. These are from UFI. Also we have our puck aerial here for the Wi-Fi. And lastly up on the roof we have our Ruvi external temperature sensor. Now we've moved to the cab. First up is our next base dash cam. Down from that is our tablet. This does our sat nav as well as all the music. This is sitting in the RAM mount tablet holder. Down from there is our Alpine head unit, which we swapped out for the original. This has a front and rear facing camera on it. I've reran all of the cabling for this, including adding additional speakers to the rear door. There's an on-off switch down here which enables us to power it independently. This runs from the rear battery and not from the drive battery any longer. Off to the right you will see there is the speedo and levelling tool. This is a great digital unit. It uses GPS to track your speed. When you're parked up you can turn it into level mode and it will tell you how level your vehicle is. Off to the right hand side of the driver's seat is the RAM mount phone holder. This is where my phone sits whilst we're on the road. We've also added the dry robe seat covers to the van. These are very comfortable and very durable. Although there are many options out there and some are cheaper than these, I can highly recommend, even though they are a little bit of extra cost, they are definitely worth the investment. And the final part in the cab is the CB. Well, why not? Now we moved into the back of the van. First up is our seating area, which has a lagoon table which you can move around to wherever you want. You can also take the top off and put it away. This area also transforms into a bed for an additional person. Just above the seating area we have our first of our max air fans, which also has the max shade on it with the LED light included. This is a great addition because it means you haven't got to add additional lights to the van when you're actually putting your ceiling in. Above the seating area we have the first of our 2 cupboards. We have all of our plates and bowls etc. in here. We keep our coffees etc. in this one. And then in this one we've got our coffee mugs, toothpaste and general other bits and pieces for day to day. Next is the first of our 2 control panels. At the top here we have our diesel heater. Below that we have the light for the shower and the on-off switch for the diesel heater. It's always worth having one of those because if you leave your diesel heater powered all the time you will find that it will fault. Below that is our control system for the recirculating shower and our water system, again with an isolating switch. Up to the right, we have the first of our two Max Air fan remote controls, and below that is our fire safety stick. Next is our sink. This is a full-size stainless steel sink from IKEA. Anybody looking at doing a van build should really consider looking in IKEA. It will become your best friend. Under the sink, we have all of our chemicals. We also have the sump for the shower and the diesel heater at the back. And this is our wastewater. We believe in not carrying too much, so we only have a 15-litre tank. When it comes to considering space in a van, you need to look at multiple uses for items. So we have three uses for our shower. Firstly being, of course, a shower. Secondly, it's a drying room. And thirdly, it's a cloakroom. So it holds all of the coats and jackets, and our shoes go in the bottom. And when it's required to be used to shower, we take it out. It's just a compromise you have to do by moving stuff around within a van, but that's just normal. But it means you are really utilising space. On the front of the shower enclosure, we have included a sliding door. This really does utilise space well. There's a small cartridge that sits in this corner, so it doesn't take up a lot of room inside the shower. It is only a 58 by 58 centimetre square base, so it is kind of small, but it's certainly enough space. Above the door there is a gap here. This is so we didn't have to add additional extraction inside of the shower, and we use the Max Air fans to draw the moisture out. Moving to the back of the van, we've gone for a double fixed bed. As you will notice, it's somewhat higher than normal because we're not on the ribs of the van. We actually added in additional beams so we could raise the bed up to give us extra garage space. But as you will notice, there is enough clearance up here to be able to sit up. And after all, for the most part, you're laid down when you're up here. We do sleep side to side in the van. The good thing about the Citroen Relay is that it's a wider van, which enables you to do so. We have added cupboards to both sides of the bed. Now some people do question as to whether it's a problem with hitting your head. To be honest, it was when we first did it, however you get used to it. Neat has the front two, mine are the back two. Gives us ample storage for clothing. Underneath the cupboard on this side, we have the second of the Max Air remote. And behind my head, you will notice that is the second Max Air fan, which again has the LED light and the shade on it. And if anybody wants some good advice on what quilt cover to get for out in a van, teddy bear fleece is the answer every day. Moving over to the left hand side of the van, we have a cupboard above the kitchen area, which has all of our cereals, nuts and snacks. And below that is the kitchen area. As you will notice, there is no cook station. We cook everything on induction, and that lives in the top drawer. At the back of the station is the second part of our electric system. We have the Citroen touchscreen, which has everything we need to know about the van, including temperatures. We also have our 240-volt sockets. This one here is for when we're on hookup, which we hardly ever use, and this one here is to run off the inverter. And then we have multiple USB sockets as well. On the end of the snack cupboard is a mount for the RAM mount holders. This is where we put the tablet to enable us to watch it while we're eating food, or just generally just chilling out. Under the kitchen worktop, here's where we keep the induction hob, as well as all the knife, forks, spoons, etc. The next one down is all of the other cooking equipment, like pots, pans and all that sort of stuff. And right down at the bottom, we have the pantry, which holds all of our dry goods. We opted to go for the CRE50 fridge. The only difference between that and the X is basically little blue bits inside, and that's about it. To make it so that the fridge works a little bit more optimally, I've added a fan that extracts into the garage. This has two purposes. One, it obviously draws the heat away from the fridge, but secondly, it does mean that the garage stays at a steady ambient temperature. Next, over on the right hand side, down at the bottom here, we have our composting toilet from Simplu. And we also keep our bin in that cupboard as well. The cupboard above that has our Instapot in it, our clam grill, and all the other bits and pieces like that for cooking. On longer journeys, we do take our freezer with us from Total Cool. This is a total game changer and really enables us to have long times off grid. Can highly recommend this. Now we come to the garage. On either side of the back door, we have molly racks to hold all the quick grab essentials that we need. We have included this curtain on the back end of the van so as to keep as much heat in as possible. As you're aware, we obviously did do the trip to the Arctic. Inside, it's rather full. Let me empty this out and I'll show you inside. Now we're inside the garage. Let's start off with the passenger side of the van. Look at the electrics. Starting from right to left, we have the Cerbo GX. Into that we have all of our sensors, temperature sensors, water level sensors, etc. We've got the Lynx Power, and then we've got the 1230 Orion. This is our DC to DC, which we are going to upgrade in due course to an XS50. And then we have an MPPT 150, which allows us to take up to 700 watts of solar. For now that would do, but I would like to try and get 1000 watts of solar on the van somehow. Across from there, this is our 240 volt hookup kill switch, and then the 12 volts underneath. And on the far left is the Multi Plus 2. This is great. We run our induction hobble for this, no problems at all, and it runs beautifully. It does require some rather chunky cables, which is sort of 95-96 mil. And inside the box down here, we have our 400 amp hour Roma battery. Here we also have a dual pole kill switch for the solar. We have the main kill switch for the system, and then we have another kill switch down here for the DC to DC and going back to the front battery. In the corner here, you'll notice there is a nocturnal fan. This is to take the hot air out from behind the fridge, and therefore keeping the garage at an ambient temperature of around about 25 degrees, and meaning that the fridge works more optimally because the heat's being drawn away from it. And above the Lynx box we have the smoke detectors. The one on the right hand side is the Wi-Fi one. We have just done an install on those, so if you are interested there will be a link in the description. And then the other addition is this cable here, runs all the way to the front of the van to power the head unit. So that has been removed from the drive battery and is purely simply pulled from the leisure battery. Moving over to the driver's side of the van. First off, inside here is our freshwater tank. It's a 93 litre freshwater tank. It comes back to around about here, and then you'll notice that there are two air ducts at the back there. They are for the diesel heater, which also goes through the bobble heater, which I'll come to in a moment. Over the back, we've got our water system for the main water and the accumulator, and down below in the corner there, we do have the fuel tank for the diesel heater. And behind this panel here is where we have all the filtration system for the recirculating shower. Let me just show you that now. And here we have the guts of the recirculating shower. It starts with a spin down filter, a 10 micron, a 5 micron, and then a carbon filter in the corner, followed by the UV filter at the top, which takes the water back into the 11 litre tank. There's about 15 litres all told, including what's in the pipework. Down the bottom here we have the bobble heat exchanger. The heat comes in off the hose here for the diesel heater. It then goes into the diverter, can either go out through this line here and straight out into the garage, or it's diverted into here, and therefore heating up the heat exchanger and heating up the water. I have made some holes in the end here so that it also does a bit of ambient heat, so it stops the water in the garage from freezing as well. You can have 40-degree showers with this, no problems at all. That part there is controlled by these two control units, and the control unit to the right is for the solar dump load. There is a heater unit there, a little element in the tank. It's a 2 kilowatt 12 volt unit, and that enables us to heat from the sun once the batteries are fully charged. So you will notice above my head is the bed, and it's sitting on the Scuria IKEA beams. Now I am actually sitting fully upright, no problems at all, because we've lifted the bed up. There is a video on the channel of how to do that. We aren't fixed into the ribs as normal. Should you want a little bit extra space in the garage, it's well worth checking that out. But that's the van tour almost complete. The only area I've not covered is above the cab. This is where we keep our thermal blinds. As you would be aware by now, we built our van to go to the Arctic, as a result of which keeping it warm inside was very important. So with that in mind, we use Celotex insulation. We put 50mm in the walls, 50mm in the ceiling, and 25 in the floor. Along with this, we used the plastic bottle insulation to fill in the crevices and the small gaps where the Celotex wouldn't fit. And in addition to this, on the back door, as you've already seen, we added a curtain. We also included one of these on the side door, and this one here between the cab and the back of the van. And I can confirm all these measures worked exceedingly well. We managed to keep the van warm inside, even down at minus 14 outside. It was a very warm 21 in here, which was far too hot because the heat just wasn't escaping. To which we ended up having to turn the diesel heater off. We hope you found the video insightful and useful. If you did enjoy it, then please do give it the thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of the van build, I'll leave a link just here. If you want to check out the adventures we've had so far, I'll leave a link up here. And of course, if you are new around here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell to hear when the next video goes live. See you in the next video.